Right in front of you are two serums. One is a triple S-class evolution serum. Inject it, and you'll get a 3S-class superpower, making you stand above the rest of humanity. The other is the Blacklight virus, with a fatality rate of 99.99%. Inject it, and at worst, you die instantly. Or worse, you turn into a zombie. There is only a 0.01% chance of awakening a power beyond the 3S class. What would your choice be, class? Entering the God's Blessing dimension to get an evolution serum is totally random. Getting a good power is all up to your luck. Don't stress out too much about it, but I still have to nag you about one thing. Never choose the genetic virus. Absolutely do not pick the genetic virus. Sir, can we just skip this topic? The genetic virus is a death sentence. Only a total idiot would choose it. The school bell, Yun Sheui, said impatiently. Right after, her name was called by the staff. She walked straight toward the God's Blessing dimension. Meanwhile, I looked around at the scene, feeling completely dazed. What the hell is going on? Did I just cross into another world? Just a second ago, I was in Dragon Nation's top medical lab. I was with my team of 4 world-class virologists, working to cure a deadly virus that was ravaging the globe. But the very next second, the lab just exploded. When I opened my eyes again, I was here. And what's with this God's Blessing dimension? Why does it look exactly like my lab? Suddenly, a sharp pain pierced through my head. A massive wave of memories flooded into my mind. So, this is a world where everyone awakens superpowers. 100 years ago, the abyss descended, and a zombie apocalypse broke out. Mutated beasts ran wild, throwing the entire blue planet into a deadly apocalypse. But along with it came the God's Blessing dimension. Once anyone turns 18, they can enter it, to choose either an evolution serum or a genetic virus to awaken their powers. At first, people picked both of these divine gifts. But as more people made their choice, humanity realized that the genetic virus had a fatality rate of 99.99%. Once a human got infected by the virus, they would either die or turn into a zombie. Even if they somehow survived by pure luck, they'd be trapped as a total vegetable. What's even more terrifying is that if the virus spread out, it could wipe out an entire city. Over time, the genetic virus became an absolute taboo in the God's Blessing dimension. No one ever dared to touch it again. Right at that moment, a glowing blue virtual screen popped up right in front of my eyes. Name: Zhang Chen. Rank: Early Low Tier. Unique Talent: Virus Overlord, pending activation. Talent description: having been exposed to a deadly virus and space-time turbulence, you can perfectly analyze and master any virus. Due to your bodily mutations, you can no longer use evolution serums. You can only awaken your powers through viruses. Activation condition: inject a single dose of a genetic virus. Looking at this talent that just popped up out of nowhere, I was completely mind-blown. This talent is way too overpowered. Normal people can only inject one evolution serum, but if I can master 100 different viruses, wouldn't that mean I could get 100 insane superpowers? Meanwhile, everyone else's eyes were locked onto Yun Sheui as she walked into the dimension. On both sides of her stood 2 rows of heavily armed soldiers, just in case some totally twisted student chose the genetic virus to take revenge on society. These soldiers were ready to gun down anyone who turned into a zombie on the spot. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Yun Sheui quickly stepped into the God's Blessing dimension. As a spatial portal opened up, she arrived inside an incredibly futuristic laboratory. Right in the center were 2 pillars of light, one orange and one black. Floating inside these beams of light were the evolution serum and the genetic virus. The moment Yun Sheui saw the evolution serum hovering in the orange light, giving off a freezing aura, a deeply satisfied smile crept across his face as he directly injected the evolution serum into his body. The staff noticed the ability details projected by the divine space and immediately announced the results. Class 5 of the senior year, Yun Sheui, awakened an S-rank ability. Frost Domain. Everyone in the plaza was absolutely stunned. Holy crap, an S-rank Frost Domain. As expected of our school beauty. That's just too overpowered. 2 minutes later, Yun Sheui stepped out of the divine space. A reporter rushed over to interview her. Miss Yun Sheui, first off, congratulations on awakening an S-rank ability. Is there anything you'd like to say? Perhaps about which university you're planning to attend? Hearing this, Yun Sheui gave a slight nod. I haven't decided on a university yet, However, I'm actually much more curious to see what ability Zhang Chen will awaken. For the past 3 years, his grades have always been better than mine. He should be able to awaken an S rank ability too, right? Once he awakens, I'd like us to get into the same university. As Yun Shui said this, she shot me a look filled with a hint of smugness. The moment she said that, the entire crowd's attention instantly locked onto me. Right then, I started walking toward the divine space. As I brushed past her, Yun Shui couldn't resist throwing a mocking jab. Zhang Chen, my standards must have been rock bottom back when I actually had a crush on you. But now that I've awakened an S rank ability, in the National Awakener exams, how could you possibly compete with me? Hearing this, I simply ignored her. Just kept walking straight into the divine space. The very instant I stepped inside, 2 massive pillars of light immediately materialized on the projection above. One was a deep, abyssal black, pulsating with waves of blood red. But the other was a startling, pure, brilliant red. A triple S rank? How is that even possible? Yun Shui stared at the evolution serum floating inside the red pillar of light, completely paralyzed as if struck by lightning. Meanwhile, our homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhou, was practically numb with excitement. That's my student right there. This is just unbelievable. At the same time, the entire plaza erupted into an absolute frenzy. In a matter of moments, the principal, the head of the education bureau, the mayor, and the powerful military figures here for the ceremony all rushed to the perimeter of the divine space. It's actually a double S rank evolution serum. Over the past century, only 4 double S rank serums have ever appeared in the entire world. Ha ha ha, our Shenxia Empire is finally going to have a double S rank awakener. The heavens are truly blessing Shenxia. God bless our empire. The military official from Dragonfang Base was literally weeping with joy. Principal Shu, what is this student's name? Our Dragonfang Base is claiming him. Ling Tianhe, a transcendent awakener, turned to the white-haired old man beside him and asked excitedly. Principal Shu Qingmin stroked his beard and smiled. His name is Zhang Chen. He is the top student at our first high school. But Captain Ling, if you want him, that's completely up to the boy himself. I certainly can't make that decision for him. Meanwhile, inside the divine space, I finally made my move. First, I took a look at the red pillar of light. But then, I walked right over to the black pillar. Wait, what's going on? Is Zhang Chen actually hesitating? There's a double S rank evolution serum right there. Does he seriously need to think about this? No way. Is Zhang Chen actually interested in the gene virus inside the black pillar? The crowd watched my actions in absolute bewilderment, while the principal and Ling Tianhe were equally stunned. An ominous feeling washed over them, and their expressions turned dead serious. And right then, inside the testing chamber, I stepped right up to the black pillar of light. And right in the middle of the beam of light, hovered a deep, double helix-shaped test tube containing a genetic virus. I didn't hesitate for a second. I reached straight out and touched the spiral tube. The very next second, the red light inside the beam twisted and formed a message. Name: Blacklight virus. Potential: God level. Description: #1 virus in the universe. I can't believe it's actually the Blacklight virus. My heart pounded as I took a sharp breath. From what I remembered, the Blacklight virus was practically invincible. Its core power was devouring and absorbing. It could plunder genetics, allowing you to steal absolutely every ability from someone else. Thinking of this, I quickly pulled out the Blacklight virus and smoothly injected it straight into my body. Right then, a voice echoed in my head. Successfully activated the unique talent. Virus Overlord. The Blacklight virus has been mastered. It has been converted into a superpower. Abilities unlocked: Devour and Plunder, Ultimate Enhancement, King of Shapeshifting, Immortal Body, Adaptive Evolution. A massive flood of information rushed into my mind. I clenched my fists tight, shaking all over. Just looking at the names of these abilities, I knew exactly how incredibly powerful they were. By the time I snapped out of it, my body had already been transformed. It was coated in a layer of dark red, pitch-black matter, giving off a brutal, dangerous, and absolutely deadly vibe. My physical strength alone was countless times greater than before. I couldn't wait, instantly pulling up my virtual stats panel. Superpower: Blacklight virus. Tier: God level. Ability 1: Devour and Plunder. You can devour the energy of any living creature to replenish yourself. You can absorb a target's powers, memories, skills, and knowledge, gaining genetic points in the process. Ability 2: Ultimate enhancement. You can spend genetic points to power up, boosting all of your physical stats at once. This includes all your senses, mental strength, and your ability to infect and control. Ability 3. King of Shapeshifting. You can morph your body into various weapon forms, defensive forms, and support forms. You can even perfectly mimic others. Ability 4. Immortal Body. Any injury will instantly heal itself. If pushed to the brink of death, your cells are fiercely protected by the virus, shielding them from external damage. You can choose to burn energy to completely regenerate from any surviving cell. Ability 5. Adaptive Evolution. When facing a new threat, you will rapidly evolve a resistance to it. You can develop permanent immunity to any harmful substances you are exposed to. If you possess multiple identical powers, they will evolve into an even higher tier ability. Seeing all of this, my mind was completely blown. The Blacklight virus granted me practically god-like evolutionary powers. As long as I keep devouring and plundering, I'll be absolutely invincible. Meanwhile, back in the Awakening Square, dead silence had fallen. Everyone's jaw dropped in absolute shock. The school leaders looked like their entire world had just collapsed. Principal Xu Qinglin stared in furious disbelief. He clutched his chest, completely losing his mind. What the hell is wrong with this kid? Isn't he just throwing his life away? Xu Qinglin snapped his head toward a stunned Zhou Hai, demanding answers. Zhou Hai, get your ass over here right now. How the hell are you teaching your students? How could you let such a brilliant prospect completely ruin his life? Zhou Hai was totally paralyzed by the screaming. Principal, I swear I didn't know. Sure, Zhang Chen was always a bit of a quiet kid, but he always seemed perfectly normal. Lin Shui's emotions were also completely all over the place, like a wild roller coaster ride. Haha, Zhang Chen is so stupid. Thrilled by the chaos, he eagerly added fuel to the fire. Principal, Zhang Chen usually acts all deep and mysterious, but honestly, I saw right through him long ago. He is completely unhinged. He is a total sociopath. Why do you guys think he always gets first place in every exam? It's just to humiliate me. Back then, I rejected his confession, and he's been holding a grudge ever since. A petty, vengeful guy like him actually wants to bring the virus out to destroy humanity. Look, he is literally turning into a zombie right now. I strongly suggest that the moment he steps out, you guys shoot him dead on the spot. Hearing Yun Shui's words, Zhou Hai reacted as if he had just grabbed a lifesaver. Yes, exactly. Zhang Chen is definitely a sociopath. Otherwise, why would he ever choose the gene virus? Principal, I have poured my heart and soul into teaching my students all these years, but Zhang Chen just hid his true colors too well. There was nothing I could do. Colonel Ling Tianhe from the Dragon Fang base also had an incredibly dark expression on his face. What a shame to lose such a promising kid. Right at that moment, gasps of shock suddenly rang out in the crowd. On the projection of the God-given space, my entire body was completely engulfed by a dark, blood-red substance. The aura I was radiating was as terrifying as a literal demon. Holy crap, Zhang Chen has mutated into a zombie. Look at that creepy black mist surrounding him. Could that be the virus? We need to get the hell away from here. Don't let yourselves get infected. The crowd in the plaza frantically backed away by over 10 meters. Seeing me in this monstrous state, Ling Tianhe could only let out a heavy sigh. He then turned to his soldiers and barked out orders. Combat squad, get ready. Hazmat squad, stand by. The second he steps out of there, if he makes any sudden moves, open fire immediately. In an instant, 2 solid rows of pitch-black gun barrels were locked directly onto the entrance of the God-given space. Soon enough, with all eyes glued to me in suspense, I stepped out of the portal. When I realized that over 20 heavy guns were aimed right at my head, my heart instantly sank. Just as I tried to retract my Blacklight virus powers and raise my hands in surrender, bang! The gunfire erupted. A massive storm of bullets rained down on me like an absolute hurricane. In the blink of an eye, my body was riddled with holes. What the hell? Why are these guys shooting first and asking questions later? Thank God for this immortal body. Instantly, a massive surge of thick, black liquid erupted from my veins and formed a solid energy shield right in front of me. Hold your fire. I am not a freaking zombie. As soon as I yelled that, utter shock flashed across the principal's face. Seeing my reaction, Ling Tianhe quickly threw his hand up to halt the firing squad. What the hell is going on here? The bullets aren't even leaving a scratch on him? That is absolutely terrifying. Did he actually manage to absorb the gene virus? Ling Tianhe looked me up and down, his mind completely blown. Kid, are you absolutely sure you successfully merged with the gene virus? Hearing this, I immediately nodded. I then took a deep breath and slowly suppressed the raging Blacklight virus back into my body. Sir, if you don't believe me, you can take me in for a full genetic scan right now. Put me in quarantine, observe me for as long as you want. I will fully cooperate. Alright then, in that case, you're coming with us. Just then, Principal Shu Qingming stormed to the front of the crowd, glaring at me with absolute fury. Zhang Chen, do you have any idea what the hell you just did? That was a once-in-a-century, SSS rank evolution serum. Something millions of people would kill for. By doing this, do you realize you've made our entire academy look like an absolute joke? My brow furrowed deeply at his words. Principal, I think the gene virus suits me better. Got a problem with that? Fine, fine, so the gene virus suits you better, huh? Just wait, when you lose control of the virus in your body, you'll be sorry. Shu Qingming let out a cold snort and stormed off. Beside him, Yun Shui was left in absolute shock. He took the most useless F-class virus. So how on earth did he block a bullet? Could the power he awakened from that virus actually be stronger than my S-class frost domain? There is no way he is still better than me. Thinking this, she took a bold step forward, radiating an intense, freezing aura. Zhang Chen, do you dare accept my challenge? I'm going to show you that anyone who takes the gene virus is nothing but trash. Seeing this, Lin Tianhe thought for a moment and decided not to intervene. He waved his hand, signaling the crowd to step back, clearing a wide path for me and Yun Shui. Hearing her words, I let out a mocking smirk. Weapons have no eyes, so don't blame me if you get hurt. I am an S-class awakened. You think a piece of trash like you could ever hurt me? Yun Shui shouted coldly. She instantly channeled her frost powers, summoning several floating ice swords that shot straight at me. Seeing this, a black and red liquid substance instantly covered my entire body. I simply raised a hand, and several chain blades formed from black tentacles lashed out. With a loud shattering crash, every single ice sword was smashed to pieces by the chains. The impact sent Yun Shui flying backward, crashing hard into the ground. An S-class power is nothing special. I retracted the black chains, my voice completely flat. Hearing this, Yun Shui coughed up a mouthful of blood, her head slumping to the side as she passed out cold. Lin Tianhe's pupils shrank in sheer disbelief. The rest of the students watching were absolutely dumbfounded. Holy crap, what just happened? Isn't the gene virus supposed to be complete trash? Zhang Chen actually one-shotted our S-class campus queen. Meanwhile, Lin Tianhe quickly checked the wound on Yun Shui's leg. Seeing no dark signs of infection, he let out a long sigh of relief. He then turned to Zhou Hai. Get 2 people to carry her to the infirmary. I'm taking this kid in for a full inspection. Soon after, Lin Tianhe took me straight to the Awakened Medical Center. Under his direct orders, Director Wang Junyang and a whole team of experts examined me personally. But when the results finally came out, it wasn't just Lin Tianhe who was shocked. The director and his entire team were completely baffled. Colonel Lin, you said this young man injected the gene virus? Are you pulling my leg? Every single patient infected with the gene virus before him showed clear destruction of their genetic sequences, leading to irreversible mutations. But this kid's body is perfectly normal. He has absolutely 0 diseases. And he isn't carrying any virus whatsoever. The results clearly show he is still just a normal human. His threat level is literally 0. That is impossible. Anyone who awakens their powers after taking the evolution serum goes through genetic recombination. He has used his powers multiple times since injecting that virus. There is no way he is still a normal human. Director Wang, he is highly crucial to our Dragonfang base. I need you to run the tests again. Lin Tianhe's expression grew incredibly stern. Wang Junyang immediately frowned. Colonel Lin, our hospital has never made a mistake. Are you doubting my professional expertise? Director Wang, just come and see for yourself. You will understand once you look at him. Lin Tianhe clearly didn't want to argue anymore. He looked straight at me and said, Zhang Chen, show us your power. Hearing this, I nodded. The next second, my entire body was rapidly covered in a black and red liquid substance. Transformed into something out of a nightmare, radiating a brutal, deadly aura. Director Wang and the others widened their eyes in shock, stumbling backward in pure terror. How is this even possible? Colonel Lin, his current state is absolutely no different from a zombie. Why couldn't our tests detect this earlier? Director Wang stammered nervously. Everyone, stop guessing. I can perfectly control the genetic virus inside my body. It's completely normal that you couldn't detect it, I said, looking at the crowd. As soon as I finished speaking, the black and red liquid quickly faded away. Controlling a genetic virus? How is that even possible? Wang Junyang stared in disbelief. You have to understand, the genetic virus is terrifyingly dangerous. Even if someone achieves perfect fusion, there's always the risk of completely losing control one day. This is just absolutely mind-boggling. Colonel Lin, we've never seen anything like this before. But since this kid claims he can control the virus, I'll leave the decision of whether he needs to be quarantined for observation entirely up to you. Wang Junyang looked over at Lin Tianhe. No quarantine needed. I trust him. Soon after, Lin Tianhe grabbed the genetic test report and took me straight to the Dragon Fang base. This base was located near the western suburbs of Jiangnan City, covering over 10,000 acres, fully equipped with top-tier military facilities. It housed 5,000 superhuman soldiers. Most of these troops were E rank and D rank awakened. A small fraction of the elite forces were C rank and B rank. As for Lin Tianhe, his superpower was the A rank, Shadow of the Thunderwolf. Zhang Chen, your ability is highly unusual. Whenever you use it, people will definitely mistake you for a zombie, which will spark massive panic. I need to register your information into the Dragon Blood Army and issue a special ID specifically for you, Lin Tianhe stated. Hearing this, a flash of confusion crossed my eyes. Colonel Lin, does this mean I have to join the Dragon Blood Army and officially become part of the Dragon Fang base? Exactly, because right now, you need a powerful faction to vouch for you. If you don't have this special status, the next time you transform into your zombie state, you are going to run into endless streams of trouble, Lin Tianhe warned in an incredibly serious tone. Colonel Lin, can I still take the National College entrance exam? I asked, suddenly curious about my future. You can, but there's really no need. Even if you get accepted into a top superhuman university, you'd eventually be recruited by the Dragon Blood Army anyway. If you want better career prospects, you should focus on ranking up to the mid-tier as fast as possible. Once you do, you can represent the Dragon Fang base in the Dragon Blood Army's annual superhuman tournament, held at the end of November. As long as you make it to the top 30 in the elite bracket, you'll be sent to a medium or large base for advanced training. As he spoke, Lin Tianhe seemed to remember something else and turned back to me. Zhang Chen, for superhumans to boost their power, they don't just need endless battles to master their abilities. They also need to absorb crystal cores from zombies or mutant beasts. And let me tell you, the resources our Dragon Fang base can offer are absolutely on par with those fancy universities. Plus, the base regularly issues combat missions, so you'll get way more real combat experience than any student would. Listening to Lin Tianhe's detailed explanation, a clear goal suddenly sparked in my mind. I possessed the Virus Dominator talent and the Blacklight virus. Devouring was the only way for me to level up rapidly. It looked like joining the Dragon Blood Army and the Dragon Fang base was absolutely the right choice to make. Right now, there were just over 4 months left until the army tournament. If I can just level up fast enough, maybe I'll actually have a chance to catch up this year. Soon after, Lin Tianhe took me to his office and handed me a form. Zhang Chen, you need to fill out your ability details on this. The stronger your powers are, the more the military brass will value you. I took the form and filled in my personal details. Under the abilities section, I wrote down the words, Controller of the Blacklight virus. Seeing what I had written, a flash of curiosity crossed Lin Tianhe and his adjutant's eyes. So, the one you injected is called the Blacklight virus? That's the first time I've ever heard of it. The most frequently occurring viruses in history include the Phantom virus and the parasitic spore virus. Once an ordinary person is injected with them, they all mutate into terrifying zombies. I just don't know if this Blacklight virus of yours is any stronger than those, Lin Tianhe wondered aloud. Captain, the abilities Zhang Chen showed earlier are definitely stronger than those viruses, the adjutant chimed in. Strong, sure, but it definitely can't beat a triple S-class ability, right? I feel like this Blacklight virus is an S-class at best. Lin Tianhe sighed, but just as he said that, he noticed me slowly listing out the Blacklight Virus's specific abilities: energy absorption, super physique, form manipulation, and super regeneration. These 4 were just the simplified abilities I deliberately revealed. As for my virus overlord talent, and the core Blacklight abilities to devour, plunder, and evolve, those are my real trump cards. Seeing me finish writing, Lin Tianhe suddenly shot up from his chair with a bang, hastily snatching the form. When he saw the 4 abilities listed, his brow furrowed. These 4 abilities are pretty standard, I'd say. It's a bit of a pity. The Blacklight virus is probably just an S-class. That's a huge gap from a triple S-class. As if remembering something, Lin Tianhe looked at me in confusion. Zhang Chen, can you tell me why you didn't choose the triple S-class ability? Colonel Lin, I actually wanted to pick the triple S-class evolution serum at first. But the energy it gave off was just terrifying. It honestly made my heart pound with dread. As for the Blacklight virus, I just felt this unexplainable connection to it. So, I chose it, I said earnestly. Hearing this, Colonel Lin took a few deep breaths, finally steadying his emotions. You're right, the triple S-class evolution serum completely shatters and rebuilds your genes. The awakening process is agonizingly painful. The Blacklight virus isn't weak. The fact that you can control it is a good thing. By the time the adjutant brought me my Dragon Blood Legion ID documents, it was already noon. Zhang Chen, it's getting pretty late. Why don't you join us for lunch at the base cafeteria? Lin Tianhe offered. After all, to the Dragon Fang Legion, even an S-class ability is enough to command everyone's respect. Colonel Lin, you already went out of your way to take me for my checkup today. And even helped process my Dragon Blood Legion ID. I couldn't possibly trouble you any further. Besides, I've been out for so long, my family's probably worried sick. I'd like to head back home, I said earnestly. Lin Tianhe nodded. Alright then, just remember to report to the Dragon Fang base tomorrow morning. When the time comes, you'll take a strength test with the other new recruits. After the test, the base will assign your official ranks, and give you special assignments. Soon after, Lin Tianhe's lieutenant dropped me off near my neighborhood. I checked the time. It was 1 in the afternoon. My uncle and aunt were still at work. So, I figured I'd take a walk to the market. They sell mutant beast meat there. I could buy a little to devour first, just to see how well it works. As for viruses, everyone's physical constitution has improved a lot lately. Colds, fevers, and terminal illnesses are super rare now. If I want to awaken my powers by controlling a virus, I'd have to get really lucky to even find one. A little while later, I arrived at the biggest fresh food market in the area. I picked a random stall and bought 2 unranked mutant pheasants. Leaving the market, I headed over to an isolated corner. I took a quick look around and made sure nobody was nearby. Without any hesitation, I instantly shifted into my virus form. At the same time, 2 black spikes materialized in my hands, and I plunged them straight into the mutant pheasants. You devoured an unranked mutant pheasant. Gene points plus. You devoured an unranked mutant pheasant. Gene points +1. Just as expected from the Blacklight virus. I really can get gene points just by devouring biomass. Staring at the completely drained mutant pheasants, I couldn't hold back my excitement. Enhance. You consumed 2 gene points. Your body has received a minor all-around enhancement. Realm at 2%. I could feel my strength, agility, stamina, and perception all get a slight boost. A smile crept onto my face. I didn't expect gene points to directly raise my realm. Wait, doesn't that mean if I just get 100 gene points, I can push my realm right to the middle of the low tier? That is freaking awesome, I thought to myself. I was just about to deactivate the Blacklight virus when, suddenly, 2 low-tier espers happened to be walking by. When they saw my dangerous-looking state, their eyes widened in panic, and they yelled to the people behind them. That lurking zombie is right here. Everyone, hurry up and kill it. Hearing that, I immediately snapped out of my thoughts. Since I was already part of the Dragon Fang base, I didn't bother running away. I quickly deactivated the virus and touched the Dragon Blood Army ID card in my pocket, ready to pull it out and prove my identity at any second. However, these low-tier espers reacted way too aggressively. They just charged at me without letting me explain, rushing in with their swords and clubs. I frowned at the sight of them, instantly forming a black iron rod in my hand. With just a few swings, I knocked them all flat on the ground. Listen up, guys, I'm an esper from the Dragon Blood Legion. I was just testing out my powers, that's all. Looking down at the groaning men on the ground, I flashed my ID card with the Dragon Blood crest. Bald guy among them took a look and saw the words, Blacklight virus controller, printed right on it. His face instantly froze. Holy shit, he really is from the Dragon Blood Army. We just got our asses kicked for absolutely nothing. Who the hell was shouting back there? I'll break your freaking legs. The bald Esper yelled back at his group. Then, he hurriedly scrambled to his feet, limping over to me and respectfully clasping his hands. Sir, it was all a huge misunderstanding just now. We're part of the local patrol squad. People have been going missing around the market a lot lately. According to witnesses, it was the work of a zombie. So, we've been working with the Esper Bureau to investigate the area. Zombies, lurking all the way out here? How is that even possible? It has to be intentional, right? A flash of shock crossed my eyes. Sir, we really don't know the details. But the Esper Bureau just posted a mission for it. You could check it out if you're interested. The bald Esper explained. You guys shouldn't get involved in this mission. Any zombie smart enough to hide is definitely way out of your league. Go home, right now. I looked at them with a deadly serious expression. It wasn't out of some overflowing sense of pity, but rather because I had joined the military. Protecting civilians is my duty. Plus, I just beat these guys up. If they stuck around and ran into a lurking zombie, they'd be dead meat. Anyway, since it's a zombie, it's bound to have the virus in its system. As long as I can track it down, I won't just master a new virus, I'll also score gene points and steal its camouflage ability. A golden glint flashed in my eyes. Shortly after, the bald guy and his crew took off. I played the part of an average Joe, hoping to bait my prey. But even after wandering around every empty, shady alley near the market, I couldn't find a single clue. Whatever, I should just head home for now. I glanced at the setting sun and shook my head with a sigh. Suddenly, out of the corner of my eye, I spotted something. A terrifying human face, lurking in the dark attic of a nearby house. Squinting closer, I realized the figure was clinging straight to the wall. Its entire body was a mangled, bloody mess. Absolutely repulsive. Target identified. Elite Liquor, Zombie Class. Rank: Late Stage, Low Tier. Running Virus Analysis. Infected by the T-Virus. Mutated after devouring countless of its own kind. Possesses basic predator instincts. No wonder it knew how to hide and hunt. Well, since you bumped into me, I'm definitely not letting you walk away. A cold, ruthless gleam crossed my eyes. Seeing that I looked like nothing more than an easy meal, the liquor unhinged its bloody jaws and lunged straight at me. But before it even hit the ground, a lethal black viral blade lashed out, slicing the monster cleanly in half. Dead as a doornail. God, this thing is disgusting. I grimaced at the gore. Still, waste not, want not. I immediately extracted its virus and gene points. System alert. Devoured late stage, low tier mutant zombie. Plus 50 gene points. Successfully extracted a massive dose of the T-virus. Mastered with 0 rejection. System prompt. Failed to awaken a new ability from the T-virus. Would you like to convert this extraction into 50 gene points? Feeling the feedback from my talent, I was completely blown away. It made sense that the Blacklight virus, being the ultimate genetic strain, would override the T-virus. So failing to awaken a new power was normal. But I never expected I could convert the T-virus straight into gene points. A single late-stage liquor just netted me 100 gene points. This is absolutely insane. I couldn't hold back my grin. Without skipping a beat, I dumped all the points into my stats. A split second later, a surge of energy flooded my veins, supercharging every single attribute in my body. In the blink of an eye, my rank shattered its bottleneck, evolving from early to mid-stage low tier. Now, even if I run into a mid-tier monster, I can wipe it out in a single strike. Brimming with absolute confidence, I made my way back to the entrance of Jinsho Apartments. By now, Uncle Zhang Baishuan and Aunt Su Qin had already finished work. The lights up on their 15th floor apartment were already on, but to my surprise, my uncle hadn't called me at all today. Could it be that me getting hauled off for quarantine after injecting the Blacklight virus really ticked him off? Bracing myself for a serious lecture, I quickly unlocked the door and stepped inside. The vibe in the living room was dead cold. My uncle and aunt were sitting there with stone-cold expressions. They were just staring at the TV, treating me like I was completely invisible. What really surprised me, though, was that my cousin, Zhang Xiaowen, was actually home for the holidays. Well, if it isn't the guy who turned his nose up at an SSS. Class evolution potion, you super genius. Come on, tell your big sis. Is that gene virus you injected God tier? Or is it God tier? Xiaowin sneered with a sarcastic smirk, circling around me twice to look me up and down. I heard on the news that you can turn into a zombie to block bullets. And that you beat an S-class Esper? Come on, turn into a zombie and show me. As her teasing faded, I actually felt a wave of relief. Zhang Chen, mind explaining why you didn't choose the SSS class ability? Uncle Baishuan asked, taking a deep breath. Uncle, the SSS class potion is just way too volatile. The risk of taking it is just as high as the gene virus, I explained. But that virus has a near 100% fatality rate. If you died, your parents would never forgive me, even in their graves. He roared, slamming his hand on the table. I completely froze, having no idea how to respond. Alright, Dad, that's enough. He's completely fine, isn't he? Since he made it back safely. We really don't need to worry anymore, Xiaowin said, patting me on the shoulder. Beside her, Aunt Su Chin let out a cold, bitter scoff. Giving up a perfectly good SSS class ability. For some trash virus. Zhang Chen, I was really counting on you to awaken a powerful ability and become the top scorer. If you got top scorer, the city would have rewarded us with a luxury villa. And tens of millions in cash. We wouldn't be stuck living in this overcrowded dump anymore, but you just had to be such a massive disappointment. We wasted all these years raising you for nothing. Aunt Su Chin snapped bitterly. The moment she said that, Uncle Baishuan's face darkened completely. He raised his hand, shouting furiously. Su Chin, shut your mouth. Seeing his raised hand, her eyes instantly turned red with tears. Zhang Baishuan, are you actually going to hit me? Am I wrong? We've poured a fortune into raising this brat over the years. And after letting us down so miserably, you're still defending him? He's nothing but an ungrateful little brat. If he had even an ounce of a conscience, he never would have chosen that damn virus. She screamed. He said shut up. Taking that SSS class potion is a massive gamble. Even if he only awakened an F-class ability, he's still my nephew. How can you be so damn materialistic? Uncle Baishuan growled, his face twisting with disgust. Hearing that, Aunt Su Chin completely broke down into sobs. Fine, I'm materialistic. When he finally gets into the Esper Academy, the tuition alone is going to cost 200,000 a year. With your pathetic little salary, you can just keep providing for him. Forget about me and your daughter. I'm packing up and leaving tomorrow. And I promise, I won't spend another dime of your money. Don't bother paying for Xiaowin's tuition either. You're closer to your nephew anyway. Su Qing cried and made a fuss, reaching out to drag Zhang Xiaowin away. Watching this unfold, I had mixed feelings. Uncle, Auntie, I've been invited by Colonel Lin of the Dragonfang base to join the Dragon Blood Legion. I'll be reporting there first thing tomorrow morning. Then, I took out my Dragon Blood Legion ID and slowly placed it on the coffee table. What, you got invited to join the Dragon Blood Legion? Zhang Baishuan couldn't help but cry out in shock, while Su Qing immediately wiped her tears and snatched the ID card. When she saw the details on the card, her face instantly lit up with joy. That's my amazing nephew, Su Qing said with extreme excitement. Oh, Xiao Chen. You came back so late, you must be starving. Sit down first. Auntie will make you something delicious right now. Just tell Auntie whatever you want to eat. Su Qing beamed with an excited smile. Hearing this, I couldn't help but roast her in my mind. Talk about a quick change of tune. Ha ha ha, Xiao Chen. Can't believe you actually joined the Dragon Blood Legion. Your uncle is so incredibly proud of you. We absolutely have to have a few good drinks tonight. Zhang Baishuan patted my shoulder, his face full of relief and pride. Zhang Chen, drink up tonight. I'll drink with you too. As for those unpleasant things, let's just forget them all. Zhang Xiaowin sat down next to me and smiled warmly. Not long after, Su Qing whipped up a massive feast. This table of food was hands down the best I had seen in years. Good thing I didn't break any laws, otherwise this really looked like a last meal on death row. Come on, eat up, Xiao Chen. Let Auntie serve you. Su Qing was unusually enthusiastic. It was as if she had never said those harsh words earlier. First thing the next morning, I arrived at the Dragonfang base. Zhang Chen, for this special recruitment at our Dragonfang base. We brought in a total of 10 awakened humans. 3 of them are A rank, 2 are S rank, and the remaining 5 are all B rank. Adjutant Yan Rui explained. Hearing this, I immediately realized that I was one of the S ranks. As for the other one, could it be? I looked at Yan Rui with a questioning gaze. You guessed it right, that girl named Yun Shui joined too. However, she was invited by another captain in the base. Yan Rui noticed my look and pushed up his glasses as he spoke. Soon, we arrived at the testing hall of the Dragon Fang base. Right now, there were over 10 people in the hall. 4 of them were wearing combat suits. And they were all in their 20s. Yan Rui, you're finally here. Everyone has been waiting for you guys. A gorgeous mature woman with long red hair smiled at Yan Rui. Hearing this, Yan Rui gave an awkward chuckle. Sorry about that, thanks for waiting. Since everyone is here, let's begin the testing. As his voice fell, I joined the other 9 special recruits. To line up for the test. Zhang Chen, my loss to you yesterday was a fluke. Now I've fully mastered several ways to use my frost domain. A piece of trash like you who injected a genetic virus could never beat me again. Yun Shui suddenly walked up to me and sneered. The moment she said that, my eyes narrowed sharply. The next second, a black light flashed, and a black whip violently lashed out straight toward Yun Shui's face. Seeing this, a flash of panic crossed Yun Shui's eyes. But just as the black whip was about to strike her face, the whip was suddenly enveloped in a pale blue light, stopping inches from her. Attacking over the slightest disagreement. What a hot-tempered little guy. Yan Rui, aren't you going to keep your people in check? A scrawny-looking and gloomy young man stepped forward. A faint, pale blue light radiated from his body, as if he was using telekinesis. Wu Zi, your people were the ones who provoked them first. A high-level esper like you interfering in rookie matters. That's completely against the rules. Or maybe, you want to go a few rounds with me instead? Yan Rui glared sharply at Wu Zi. Hearing this, Wu Zi narrowed his eyes. He gave a cold snort and stayed silent. Once that little drama passed, the testing finally began. Testing attack power was undoubtedly a crucial part of evaluating a rookie esper's strength. Zhu Dajuang, please step forward for testing. A staff member in a logistics uniform called out his name. A muscular guy standing about 1.9 meters tall marched right up to the testing machine. He let out a furious roar, instantly transforming into a savage wereboar. The next second, he locked his fists together, thrust his elbows outward, and smashed into the machine with a brutal boar charge. A terrifying force exploded. The power index on the testing machine rapidly skyrocketed to 3,000 kilograms. Seeing this, the crowd of rookie espers waiting in line couldn't help but gasp in shock. They never expected the very first guy to be this hardcore. Soon after, 3 Class B espers finished their turns, but their average attack power didn't even pass 1,500 kilograms. I heard she's the prettiest girl in first high school. A Class S esper with the frost domain. I wonder if her attack power can beat Zhu Dazhuang's? The crowd whispered as they watched Yun Shui step up. Hearing their whispers, Yun Shui proudly lifted her chin. She shot me a sharp glare. Zhang Chen, just you wait. I'm gonna show you what real power looks like. As she spoke, freezing frost erupted all around her. The temperature in the hall plunged drastically. She took a few quick steps back, and formed a longbow made of pure ice in her hands. As she pulled the bowstring all the way back, jagged ice arrows suddenly materialized on the string. She released her grip, firing the shot. An ice blue streak of light violently slammed into the testing machine. The numbers shot up. 4,000 kilograms. Holy crap, is this what a Class S esper can do? That's insanely strong. The crowd erupted into non-stop chatter. At that moment, Yun Shui shifted her gaze right back to me. Zhang Chen, you're just a loser who injected a genetic virus. Your body must be completely wrecked by now. If you can actually beat my score, I'll let myself, a Class S esper, be your personal deputy. Yun Shui taunted confidently. You're not even worthy, I replied with a completely deadpan face. Without another word, I stepped right up. I didn't hesitate. In a flash, my entire body was engulfed in a dark, blood-red liquid substance. I raised my arm, and a terrifying, deathly aura quietly formed into a crescent blade in my hand. The next second, my gaze sharpened. I viciously slashed the blade forward. Instantly, a massive cloud of black smoke exploded from the testing machine. A bunch of glitched-out codes scrambled across the screen. Holy shit, what the hell just happened? He hit the machine so hard it's literally smoking. That's way too brutal. The whole crowd of rookie espers stood there completely dumbfounded. Even Yan Rui and the other 5 majors had a flash of absolute shock in their eyes when they saw it. The absolute limit that testing machine can measure is 15,000 kilograms. A force that only a mid-level Esper could possibly unleash. He's just a newly awakened Esper, but he made the testing machine smoke. Could his destructive power actually be on par with a mid-tier Esper? The red-haired major looked at me in absolute disbelief. Hearing this, Wu Zi let out a cold snort. Even the commander, back when he was a low tier, could only output 12,000 kilograms of destructive force. How could a guy who just injected a genetic virus possess this kind of power? If you ask me, the machine is definitely just getting old. Let's just get a new one for him to test on. With that, the 5 majors exchanged looks and decided to have me test again. However, a few minutes later, yet another testing machine was up in smoke. Everyone present was completely dumbfounded. Holy crap, the captain really struck gold this time. This Blacklight virus is probably at the S-class level. It might even be at the very top tier among all S-class abilities. Yan Rui's eyelids twitched wildly. Even a man known for being as calm and steady as him couldn't help but get excited at this moment. Meanwhile, Wu Zi's face turned completely pale. How is this even possible? Did I actually underestimate this kid? At the same time, the other newly awakened Espers taking the test were completely numb with shock. Especially Yun Sheui, she was starting to question her entire existence. Impossible, I am a noble S-class elemental Esper. He's just a brainless brute relying on raw strength. That has to be it. He's definitely only strong in the early stages. In the future, he absolutely won't be a match for me. Yun Sheui desperately tried to convince herself, slowly regaining her arrogant confidence. Wu Zi, Zhang Chen has just shattered the Basie's record. You shouldn't have any more objections now, right? Yan Rui said with a smirk on his face. Hearing this, Wu Zi's expression darkened once again. He let out a sharp scoff and turned his head away. An hour later, as all the tests finally concluded, I ranked first in every single category. My stats absolutely crushed Yun Sheui into the dirt. But Yun Sheui changed her tune in a flash. One moment she was stunned, and the next she was throwing a fit. Zhang Chen, no matter how strong you are, you can still only rely on physical attacks. Just wait until I fully awaken my frost domain. A single frost storm from me could slaughter thousands of mutated beasts. That's something you could never dream of achieving. Yun Sheui held her head high with arrogance. I honestly couldn't even be bothered to entertain this woman. It's true, the potential ceiling for a powerful elemental Esper is incredibly high. It's completely beyond what a mere strength-based monster could compare to. For the Dragon Blood Legion, powerful elemental Espers are actual strategic weapons. These strength brutes might have great single-target power, but their usefulness on the battlefield will be limited. Wu Zi muttered to himself. Even though he didn't drop any names, everyone in the room knew he was saying that specifically for my benefit. Hearing this, I just scoffed inwardly. A strength monster is useless? Just wait until you guys run into an unbeatable boss out there. That'll shut you up real quick. Little do they know, in this brutal world, the most terrifying monsters always walk alone. Plus, with my Blacklight virus, if Yun Sheui were to drop dead right now, I could easily devour and steal her S-class frost domain for myself. A purely physical ability is honestly a bit boring. I wonder what my very first mission is going to be. Man, it would be awesome if I could devour and steal some fresh abilities out there. A gleam of anticipation flashed in my eyes. Shortly after, Yan Rui brought me to a gorgeous, upscale villa district. This was the residential area specially built for exceptional Espers. It was fully equipped with top-tier facilities. Zhang Chen, from now on, this villa is yours. Out of the 5 newly awakened B-class Espers from earlier, I've requested Zhu Dajuang to serve as your adjutant. You now hold the rank of second lieutenant. Whenever you head out on missions, you can bring him along with you. Zhu Dajuang is still in training right now. It'll take him about 3 days to get here. When he comes, he'll bring your shoulder boards and combat suit. If there's anything you're not sure about later, you can just ask him. Oh, by the way, there's a training ground inside the base. If you're free over the next 3 days, you can head over there and take a look. After saying that, Yan Rui went back to his own business. Those 3 days flew by, and I certainly didn't let that time go to waste. I used the Blacklight virus's shape-shifting abilities to develop quite a few new skills. Now, not only can I morph my arms into offensive weapons like sharp blades, chain swords, long whips, and giant hammers, I can also manifest a full-body viral armor. Looks incredibly awesome and packed with raw power. On top of that, its utility functions, like my sensory, visual, and auditory abilities, have been massively upgraded. Right now, I look like a demon king clad in armor. Standing in front of the mirror, I couldn't help but smile. Then, a black liquid substance wrapped around my hand, and a battle blade, gleaming with a chilling, deadly light, materialized right in my grasp. If I were to test my punching force in this form right now, I bet a single slash could chop the testing machine cleanly in half. I dismissed the long blade, feeling an overwhelming surge of confidence. Just then, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed from downstairs. I activated my thermal vision, looking straight through the wall to see who was out in the yard. It was a remarkably muscular guy, sporting a buzz cut and a rather fierce-looking face. "Boss, hurry and open up, I'm here," Zhu Dajuang yelled into the villa, carrying a metal case in his hand. Hearing that, a faint smile crossed my face, and I quickly stepped out onto the balcony. The next second, I shot out a thin black tendril from my hand that stuck to the wall, then vaulted right over the balcony rail, swinging directly onto the villa's outer wall. Holy crap, that was so freaking cool. "Boss, you looked absolutely badass just now." Zhu Dajuang looked at me, practically bursting with excitement. "Let's talk in the living room." I shot another black tendril from my hand to pull the gate open. "Boss, I bet you've been bored out of your mind cooped up in the base these past 3 days. Vice Captain Yan briefed me before I got here. Starting today, we're cleared to take on missions issued by the Dragon Tooth base." As he spoke, he opened his backpack and pulled out 2 black combat suits, a tactical comm watch, a handgun, and a pair of captain's shoulder boards. I took the tactical comm watch Zhu Dajuang handed me, and casually strapped it onto my wrist. Right after that, I picked up one of the combat suits. Black liquid matter surged across my body, instantly absorbing the suit and the gun straight into me. "So, where do we pick up these base missions?" I asked. "Boss, just project the screen from your comm watch first. If you want to take on missions, you can browse through the mission board on the Dragon Tooth base's official network." Zhu Dajuang gave a wide grin. I clipped on my captain's boards and nodded. "You can just call me by my name from now on. You don't need to call me boss." "No way, I can't do that. I'm your subordinate. According to protocol, I'm not allowed to address you by your first name." "How about I just call you Brother Chen from now on?" Zhu Dajuang asked earnestly. "Sure, that works." I nodded, then asked, "And what should I call you from now on?" "Well, Brother Chen, you can just call me Dajuang or Old Zhu, either is fine." Zhu Dajuang replied earnestly. While we were talking, I had already booted up the tactical watch. With a soft hum, a smart projection popped up, instantly unfolding a blue virtual interface right in midair. I quickly tapped my way into it. Then, I found the mission board. It had missions posted by the Dragon Fang base, along with requests from the city's Esper Bureau. I took a moment to evaluate my current strength, and finally opened up a mission that looked like a perfect fit. The National Esper College entrance exam will take place in 5 days. To ensure the safety of the candidates, the special task force assigned to this mission must head to the Black Cloud County Exam Center and clear out the mid-tier monsters inside. Mission time limit, 2 days. Mission difficulty, mid-tier. Mission rewards will be based on the number of kills. The agent takes 80% of the reward, and the adjutant gets 20%. A single early-stage mid-tier monster is worth 100,000 bucks and 20 merit points. Wow, this mission is awesome. Smirk crept onto my face. By taking this mission, I won't just get to kill monsters and level up, but I'll get paid for it too. It's hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. Right then, Zhu Dajuang peeked over with burning curiosity, looking at the mission details on the virtual projection. When he saw that the objective was to hunt mid-tier monsters, his eyes went wide in pure shock. "Brother Chen, are you seriously taking this mid-tier extermination mission?" "That's right. Is there a problem?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. No. Whatever you decide is fine by me." Zhu Dajuang tried his best to play it cool, but inside, his mind was blown. For a low-tier Esper, encountering a mid-tier monster is an absolute death sentence. Brother Chen is an absolute beast. Being the adjutant to a total badass like him, even if I were literally a pig, I'd still be flying high. Zhu Dajuang took a deep breath, feeling a sudden rush of excitement. Ever since he witnessed my power 3 days ago, Zhu Dajuang had a pretty solid idea of what I was capable of. So now that I was taking on a mid-tier mission, he naturally chose to trust me unconditionally. Alright, the mission is set. Do you need to prep anything else? If not, how about we hit the road right now? I asked, turning off the projection and looking over at him. Brother Chen, I've got all the daily supplies, medical kits, and field tools completely sorted out. You'll never have to worry about this stuff from now on. Plus, the base even hooked us up with an SUV. Zhu Dajuang rubbed his hands together, looking absolutely hyped. Hearing that, my eyes lit up too. I really didn't expect the Dragon Fang base to be so well prepared. Now, Black Cloud County was located in the northern part of Jiangnan City. A full 80 kilometers away from our base. Ever since the Great Catastrophe, this town had been trapped under dark clouds all day long, giving off a dark and completely dead vibe. It took us over an hour, but we finally made it safely to the camp right outside the exam center's quarantine zone. Brother Chen, I just double-checked the intel. There are 10 special task forces taking on this extermination mission in total. 8 of them are made up of espers specially recruited from the last 2 years. When they left the base, they cashed in their merit points for recon drones. It looks like they're trying to hog all the rewards for this mission. As for the other squad, it's being led by 2nd Lieutenant Yun. Zhu Dajuang explained, tapping off his tactical watch and looking over at me. Yun Shui is here too? With her power level, if she actually runs into a mid-tier monster, she'd have no choice but to run for her life, right? How does she have the guts to take this on? Unless someone is carrying her? A flash of suspicion crossed my eyes. Since Black Cloud County was acting as the exam center, there really weren't that many mid-tier monsters hanging around. But with 10 whole squads taking on this extermination mission, I could only imagine how brutal the competition was about to get. Definitely didn't want to make this trip for nothing. A sudden wave of urgency flared up in my chest. Quick, open the map and analyze it. Help me figure out which areas might have mid-level monsters. If we can pin it down, we'll head straight there. Hearing this, Zhu Dajuang started tapping on the map projection, focusing completely on scanning it. After about 30 seconds, he successfully found a target. This large hospital 2 kilometers away. There are quite a few low-level monsters lingering around it. I'd say there's a pretty high chance of mid-level monsters spawning inside the hospital. Zhu Dajuang said earnestly. Hearing this, I nodded in agreement. Alright, since that's the case, then let's head straight over. It took nearly half an hour before Zhu and Dajuang finally arrived near the central hospital. Brother Chen, I feel like tagging along like this is just dragging you down. Don't wait up for me from now on. You should just head to the destination by yourself first. As long as we keep our tactical watches on, we can stay in touch anytime. Zhu Dajuang looked at me earnestly. If I go on ahead by myself, what if you get targeted by monsters? Can you handle it? I asked with a frown. Hearing this, Zhu Dajuang replied confidently. Boss, as long as it's not a late-stage low-level monster, I can easily slaughter them with a single wild boar charge, and if I do run into a late-stage low-level monster, even if I can't beat it, I can still run. Soon after, Zhu Dajuang found a nearby building and hid inside. As for me, I swaggered right up to the hospital gates. The moment I pushed open the rusty iron doors, the zombies wandering nearby shuddered, turning around stiffly like broken machines. The very next second, they rushed at me like sharks smelling blood. 10 early-stage low-level zombies should provide a pretty generous wave of gene points. A faint smile crept onto my face. Without a second thought, I raised my hand and whipped out a virus chain blade. A streak of black light flashed, and the heads of all 10 zombies instantly went flying. Devoured an early-stage low-level zombie. Gene points plus 10. You devoured an early-stage low-level zombie. Gene points plus 10. After devouring all 10 corpses, I was in an incredible mood. Grinding mobs is just way too satisfying. I managed to extract 100 gene points in one go. Enhance me, I thought to myself. Consuming 100 gene points, my body received an all-around boost. Realm progressed by 10%. Before, a single gene point could boost my realm by 1%. Now, it takes 10 points just to get that same 1%. Looks like it's going to be quite difficult to push my realm up to the late-stage low level. I muttered to myself, but even so, my leveling speed is still light years ahead of anyone else's. Right at that moment, a sudden buzzing sound echoed. I looked up and realized it was a reconnaissance drone. Camera on the drone was pointing straight at me. Which department's task force do you belong to? This extermination mission is specifically targeting mid-level monsters. Are you completely unaware? You just wiped out 10 low-level zombies right off the bat. If all of us task force members acted like you, the Haiyan County examination zone would be completely ruined. A harsh reprimand blared from the drone, its tone sounding extremely icy. Hearing this, my expression instantly turned grave. However, before I even had the chance to talk back, another threatening voice came through the drone. Ah, so you're a rookie from this year's batch. No wonder you have no idea how the rules work. Considering this is your first offense, the fact that you just slaughtered the candidate's prey. I won't report it to the base. I've been keeping an eye on this hospital for a long time now. You should just go somewhere else. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer. So he said all that just to steal my kills. Sorry, but I've been keeping an eye on the southern area of Black Cloud County for a long time too. How about you guys head over to the northern area? I said, my tone completely calm. Holy crap, you've got some nerve, kid. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Just wait and see if I don't tear you apart. A shocked and furious voice blared from the drone with a burst of static. The very next second, a handgun suddenly appeared in my grip, and a bullet was instantly fired. It hit the drone with dead-on accuracy, setting off a massive explosion. At the same time, the nearby zombies were all startled by the blast and came swarming in. Brother Chen, I just checked with Vice Captain Yan. He said as long as we're not purposely hunting down low-level monsters, it's fine. If they block our mission progress, we can kill them all. Right then, old Ju's voice suddenly rang out from my tactical watch. Hearing this, I let go of all my reservations. The Blacklight virus surged out. My entire body was encased in black armor, and my whole arm morphed into a massive black blade. Watching the swarming horde of zombies, I dashed right into the middle of them and started slashing like a madman. Not far away, Zhu Dajuang stood on the rooftop, watching this brutal scene, completely dumbfounded. That was over 30 zombies. Even an early-stage mid-level Esper would have to run for cover. If you accidentally got scratched or bitten, your only option would be to slice off the infected flesh. Or inject an incredibly expensive anti-zombie serum, but here I was, right in the middle of the horde. Chopping them up like vegetables without a care in the world. Zombie after zombie quickly dropped to the ground. The scene was absolutely terrifying. Brother Chen, you are a total badass. Zhu Dajuang couldn't help but clench his fists in excitement. At the hospital's front courtyard, I quickly extracted the gene points from the corpses, feeling absolutely thrilled. Allocate all points to enhancements. You have consumed 350 gene points. My body received a comprehensive boost. Realm progress at 35%. I was only 55% away from breaking through to the late stage low level. This leveling speed was honestly terrifying. You have to understand, other Espers could only slowly raise their realms through cultivation. Or by absorbing the crystal cores of elite monsters. The mid-level monsters in Black Cloud County probably had cores in them too. It seemed that Guy's motive for stealing my kills was definitely tied to those crystal cores. I analyzed the situation, and the Dragon Blood Legion didn't actually forbid members of different departments from competing with each other. It was just that the Legion had one absolutely unbreakable rule: no Legion member could kill another. If there was an irreconcilable conflict, the two parties could settle it in the arena back at the base. The loser would be transferred to another location. 3 kilometers away, a buzz-cut young man in a combat suit found that his drone had been blasted out of the sky with a single shot. His face instantly turned completely grim. Damn it, the rookies this year are way too arrogant. How dare he talk back to me? Luo Chong clenched his fist and unleashed a shockwave, smashing right through the concrete wall next to him. Boss, I heard that this year's batch brought in 2 geniuses who awakened S-rank abilities. That kid is probably one of them. One of his teammates said to Luo Chong. Oh, so it's an S-rank ability? No wonder he dared to take this mission. But since he messed with us, then we definitely have to teach him a lesson. Luo Chong sneered coldly. Saying that, he waved his hand, leading his 2 underlings as they quickly heading toward the abandoned hospital. And once inside this abandoned hospital, the only sound was my own footsteps echoing down the hallway. It was way too quiet. Could it be that there aren't any mid-tier monsters in this hospital? I pushed my virus senses to the absolute limit as I walked. Just then, a faint fluorescent glow appeared at the end of the corridor. It caught my eye, so I stepped closer to take a look. I found a strand of white spider silk, as thick as a hemp rope. Following the trail of the web, several cocoons wrapped around human skeletons came into view. Looks like there really is a mid-tier monster here. I raised an eyebrow, and without any hesitation, I slowly reached out, grabbed the web, and gave it a hard tug. The very next second, the silk began to shake violently. A piercing shriek rang out from above. I looked up toward the landing of the stairs, and saw a massive, 2-meter-tall spider with a pale human face and wild, tangled hair rushing wildly at me. The spider's 8 legs were like sharp blades, gleaming with a deadly cold light. It looked incredibly dangerous. I turned on my combat recorder, activated my tactical watch, and instantly let my virus armor cover my entire body. I morphed my arm into a massive, razor-sharp blade, and throwing caution to the wind, I charged right up the stairs, trapping that human-faced spider right in the corner. "Chen, don't take it head-on." Old Ju's panicked voice rang out from my tactical watch. He sounded completely frantic, but I completely ignored him. I was already locked in a brutal clash with the spider, and I was seeing red. I morphed one of my hands into a mass of virus tentacles, tightly tangling up all 8 of the spider's legs. With my other hand, I raised my blade and relentlessly hacked away at the beast. After 20 furious slashes, the human-faced spider stopped moving completely. Hell yeah, now this is the right way to use the Blacklight virus. With an immortal body like this, why would I ever bother with fancy footwork? A wicked smirk crossed my face. It's a shame my blade isn't quite fast enough yet, or I could have finished it off in just 2 strikes. Thinking about this, I couldn't help but look down at the spider's 8 razor-sharp legs. Just a moment ago, those 8 legs easily pierced right through the concrete walls and repeatedly sliced through my virus tentacles. That alone forced me to waste a ton of energy. Without a second thought, I switched off my combat recorder and commanded the Blacklight virus to devour the human-faced spider. Devoured early stage, mid-tier human-faced spider. Gained 100 gene points. Acquired 1 beast crystal core, white grade. System prompt: white crystal core can be converted into 100 gene points. You have successfully plundered the C rank ability, Sharp Claws. Wait, I actually got 200 gene points out of this? And I even plundered a brand new ability. Talk about getting exactly what you need. I was absolutely thrilled, now that I had plundered the Sharp Claws ability. My armor-breaking power was undoubtedly going to skyrocket. With that in mind, a massive, curved blade gleaming with a deadly frost quietly formed right from the palm of my hand. I gave it a casual couple of swings, and the iron handrail on the stairs was sliced clean through. Even the concrete wall was sliced open like tofu, leaving a massive, deep gash. Feeling incredibly satisfied, I retracted the sharp, curved blade. Then, I dumped all 200 gene points I just earned into my enhancements. My cultivation progress bar skyrocketed by another 20%. I'm only 35% away from breaking through to the late stage of the lower tier. I should go check upstairs first. If there are more mid-tier monsters up there, I'll be swimming in upgrades. I excitedly made my way upstairs. Meanwhile, on the other end, Zhu Dajuang was watching the shared feed from my combat recorder. Holy shit, Chen is an absolute beast. He went head-to-head with a mid-tier monster and didn't even get a single scratch. What kind of freakish body is this? No way. That battle scene just now was absolutely epic. I have to upload this to the base's official website. Zhu Dajuang was incredibly excited. A few minutes later, I finished searching the entire abandoned hospital. I didn't find any other monsters. Just as I was about to head somewhere else to keep looking, Zhu Dajuang's voice suddenly crackled through the tactical watch. "Brother Chen, they're here. There are 3 of them." Hearing that, I immediately climbed up to the roof of the abandoned hospital and looked toward the main gate. I saw a buzz-cut guy in a combat uniform show up in the front courtyard with 2 of his goons. "Hey kid, get the hell out here." The buzz-cut guy screamed at the top of his lungs toward the hospital. Seeing this, a pistol instantly appeared in my hand. A bullet shot out, instantly hitting the ground just a few feet in front of the buzz-cut guy, leaving a crater. He jumped back in shock. He immediately looked up in a rage when he spotted me standing on the hospital roof terrace smiling down at him. His blood pressure skyrocketed. "You've got some nerve. You see me and you still don't run. Get ready to spend the rest of the month sleeping in the base's medical center." As he spoke, an energy orb materialized in his palm. The very next second, he clenched his fist and blasted it right at me. A transparent shockwave ripped through the air, reaching me in the blink of an eye. I reacted quickly, forming a virus shield with one hand and taking the hit head-on. This guy can actually shoot shockwaves? Not a bad ability. I shot out a chain blade from my wrist, piercing the wall, and leapt straight down. I swung right down into the courtyard. Seeing this move, Luo Chong and his two goons couldn't help but twitch in fear. I heard you guys wanted to teach me a lesson. Bring it on. I sized the three of them up with a calm tone. Then, my virus armor covered my entire body. My eyes instantly turned blood red. Holy shit, you can transform into a zombie? Luo Chong and his crew stumbled backward, completely terrified by my appearance. Snapping back to his senses, Luo Chong felt embarrassed. He instantly fired off his ability, launching a furious attack at me. Muffled explosions went off one after another, sending shockwaves rippling across the courtyard. Violent winds raged, and the air itself trembled. I tanked several shockwaves without even flinching. Is that it? Are you trying to tickle me? I raised an eyebrow. Impossible, even if you are an S-class Esper. You're only at a low-tier level. How the hell could you withstand my shockwaves? Luo Chong was in absolute disbelief. You're too damn loud. I'll explain it to you nicely once you're on the ground. With that, I dashed right up to his face. My chain blades shot out, instantly wrapping around his legs. The next second, I drove a vicious knee strike right into his gut. With a sickening thud, Luo Chong looked like he'd just been hit by a massive dump truck. He coughed up a mist of blood and was sent flying backward over 10 meters. He slammed brutally into the hospital's iron gates. Seeing him hit the ground, I was about to rush in and land another kick, but I noticed several of his ribs were already shattered. He had completely passed out. So, I slowly lowered my foot. A monster. How could there be a monster like this among the new recruits? Extreme terror flashed in the eyes of one of his goons. His legs were shaking, terrified out of his mind. Boss, we were wrong. I apologize on behalf of Boss Luo. We're with the investigation department. Please, just let us off the hook. Alright, take him away, and remember to steer clear of the monsters on your way back. Otherwise, if you get killed by them, it's not my problem. I waved my hand dismissively. Hearing this, the two followers looked as if they'd just been granted a royal pardon. They hurriedly picked up Luo Chong and practically ran off. Brother Chen, you took down Luo Chong in just one hit. That's totally badass. Now that you've beaten him into submission, I bet no mid-tier awakener will ever dare mess with you again. Zhu Dajuang openly praised me as soon as we met up. I just nodded at his words. Old Zhu, where's our next stop? I turned to look at him. I was observing their route from the rooftop earlier. They circled around from the northeast, which means that area has already been scoured. For now, we can head to the abandoned bus station due north. The monsters there are pretty packed. There's a high chance we'll find mid-tier ones there. Zhu Dajuang pulled up the holographic map, pointing to an area 5 kilometers away. Meanwhile, in the Dragon Fang Base's mobile unit captain's office, Lin Tianhe was frowning as he read the frontline report from the Tianan province battlefield. There are a lot of monsters within the Shenxia Empire, but they usually don't wander around randomly. They stick to their habitats. However, those powerful alien races from the abyss love to destroy cities and hunt humans for sport. Luckily, the Shenxia Empire has a massive population of awakeners, allowing them to constantly replenish their troops. Over time, countless awakeners have used their blood to forge 9 major defensive lines within the empire, constantly fighting off the abyssal invasions. I can't believe the Demon Rune tribe has gathered their forces to attack the Thunder Valley defense line again after lying low for so many years. Let's just hope the Dragon Scale base can hold them off. Lin Tianhe sighed heavily. Just then, someone knocked on the office door, and Yan Rui hurried in. Captain, you need to check the video section on the base's website right now. A combat video is going completely viral. Hearing this, Lin Tianhe tapped his tactical smartwatch, projecting the website's video section onto the screen. Shocking, a low-tier rookie actually cornered a mid-tier monster in a stairwell and did something this insane. High-octane action from start to finish. Lin Tianhe was completely dumbfounded when he saw the clickbait title. But knowing how serious Yan Rui usually was, he went ahead and clicked on the video anyway. As the video played, his jaw practically dropped. Is Zhang Chen out of his mind? How the hell does he have the guts to go head-to-head with a human-faced spider like that? Lin Tianhe was absolutely stunned. Little Yan, we might need to re-evaluate Zhang Chen's ability rating. I'm afraid his super stamina and super regeneration have both reached S tier. Not to mention he also has energy absorption and form manipulation. Once he fully matures, he'll be an absolute bulldozer on the battlefield. With a lethal weapon like him in our Dragon Fang base, he'll definitely be able to give the Demon Rune tribe a nasty little shock in the future. Lin Tianhe felt a massive surge of anticipation. Captain, Zhang Chen's abilities are definitely at the top end of the S tier. But I think he's still a bit short of double S tier. Then let's provisionally rank him as S+. From now on, bump his benefits up by a level, Lin Tianhe ordered. Meanwhile, near the abandoned bus station in the south of Haiyan County, Yun Shui was also watching the video on the base's website. While she was utterly amazed on the inside, her tone carried a hint of sour jealousy. Is this kind of fighting style really worth hyping up? He's just a brainless muscle freak. Zero technique whatsoever. Saying that, she angrily formed an ice sword and instantly killed an early low-tier zombie nearby. Shui, you don't need to let that guy get under your skin. Sure, muscle heads like him are pretty impressive early on, but you and I both have noble elemental powers. Once we hit the high tiers, they won't even be fit to shine our shoes. The one speaking was a young man with slicked back, oily hair. His name was Lu Feng, sitting at the late mid-tier level. He possessed the A-rank ability, Galeblade. Standing beside him were 4 mid-tier followers. However, these 4 weren't actually members of the Dragon Fang base, but rather, tools sent by his family to assist him. Senior Lu Feng. That jerk Zhang Chen took the exact same mission as me. He's obviously just trying to show me up. I was stuck in his shadow for 3 years at Zhongnan First High. I really don't want to lose to him again this time. Could you, maybe let me have the finishing blow on the mid-tier monsters later? Yun Shui looked at Lu Feng, a hint of pleading in her eyes. Hearing this, Lu Feng smirked and said, honestly, when I brought you along this time, that was exactly my intention. They're just a few mid-tier monsters, anyway. Why wouldn't I? Oh, senior, you're so good to me. Once I get stronger in the future, I'll definitely pay you back. Yun Shui said joyfully. Lu Feng's smirk widened at her words. Just then, bang, a sudden gunshot echoed from a nearby abandoned bus station. Hearing the noise, Lu Feng and his group quickly grabbed Yun Shui and rushed over. Meanwhile, inside that very same station, I was standing on top of a gutted-out bus and fired a shot straight into the air. Of course, I only did this to bait out any nearby monsters. The moment I holstered my gun, a massive horde of zombies came swarming in. There were about 50 of them. The station, which had been pretty quiet just a moment ago, was suddenly filled with endless, blood-curdling shrieks. Chen, quick, look over there. That zombie is ridiculously huge. Zhu Da Zhuang pointed toward the station's back entrance, his eyes wide with pure terror. I snapped my head around to look, and saw a massive, 6-meter-tall zombie slowly dragging a scrapped car right toward me. Giant arm zombie, late mid-tier threat level, colossal strength strain, a mutation born from a T-virus infection, granting it absolutely unrivaled physical power. Seeing this, my viral armor instantly rippled over my entire body. A gleaming viral scimitar materialized in my hand. You'd better take cover, old Zhu. Once I start seeing red, I might just forget to watch your back. I warned him. Hearing that, Zhu Da Zhuang scrambled up onto one of the sturdier-looking buses. Be careful out there, Chen. He quickly flipped on his recording device. But before he could even finish his sentence, I had already plunged headfirst into the zombie horde. Exactly 1 minute later, over 50 zombies lay chopped to pieces on the ground. The only thing left standing in the entire ruined station was that giant zombie. Without a single second of hesitation, I activated my Devour. A massive wave of 550 gene points flooded in. A surge of incredible energy washed over me, leaving me fired up and ready to go. I immediately dumped every last point into upgrading my stats. As my power level spiked, I felt this primal, explosive strength surge through my veins. If it used to take me 20 slashes to kill a human-faced spider, then the current me could literally beat one senseless in just 3 punches. 5 punches, and I'd send that thing straight to hell. Wait, it actually takes 20 gene points just to push my progress up by 1%? Well, I suppose I can live with that, I muttered to myself. But right at that moment, 2 sharp whistling sounds sliced through the air. I whipped my head around, only to see a massive, scrapped car hurtling straight for my face. And that second whistling sound? It was coming from right behind me. A lethal, cyan-colored blade of wind. I couldn't dodge in time, and one of my arms was instantly severed by a wind blade. But my other hand flicked out the viral chain blade, slashing a wrecked car in midair right in half. Ambushing me at a time like this? Murderous intent flashed in my eyes. What the hell are you guys doing? Why attack Brother Chen? Seeing Lu Feng and his gang arrive, Zhu Dazhuang quickly drew his gun and aimed at them. Hearing this, a smirk crept onto Lu Feng's lips. Just stealing your kill, that's all. No need to make such a fuss. You son of a… Is this how you steal a kill? This is straight up murder. Zhu Dazhuang cursed furiously. As he spoke, he pulled the trigger right at Lu Feng. Gunshots rang out one after another. Lu Feng and the others scrambled to dodge. The nearby monsters were drawn by the gunfire again. Jam the signal here, otherwise, it'll be tricky for us to make our move next. Lu Feng's tone was icy. A lackey beside him quickly pulled a signal jammer out of his backpack. With a powerful burst of electromagnetic interference, Zhu Dazhuang's and my tactical comm watches were instantly jammed. Seeing this, Zhu Dazhuang's face immediately fell. Brother Chen, these bastards are actually playing for keeps, Zhu Dazhuang said out loud. At the same time, he beast shifted into a ferocious boar man. However, the moment his voice faded, cyan wind blade flew over, instantly slashing his chest and spraying a burst of blood. Seeing Zhu Dazhuang fall, my murderous rage boiled over. Even though I hadn't known Zhu Dazhuang for long, he was my lieutenant, my future right-hand man. Plus, when Zhu Dazhuang saw me get ambushed, he decisively raised his gun to fight back. Just based on that alone, I had already acknowledged this little brother. I quickly jumped onto the bus to check his wounds. Thank God it wasn't fatal. I let out a heavy sigh of relief. Thinking of Zhu Dazhuang's safety, I hurriedly hoisted him onto my shoulder and dashed toward a relatively safe rooftop nearby. I quickly dug out hemostatic bandages and other supplies from Zhu Dazhuang's backpack. By the time I finished stopping his bleeding, Lu Feng and his crew had already taken over the giant arm zombie. They had slashed the giant arm zombie full of gashes, leaving it completely immobilized on the ground. Senior, attacking Zhang Chen like that just now, wasn't that going a bit too far? Yun Shi Yu asked, feeling a bit uneasy. Shi Yu, don't overthink it. Earlier, I just wanted to help him deal with the zombie. Too bad my aim was a bit off. The wind blade drifted. Lu Feng sighed. Then, what about his lieutenant? Yun Shi Yu pursed her lips. He openly raised his gun and shot at an officer. Isn't it totally normal for me to make him cool off a bit? As a member of the investigation department, Lu Feng had thoroughly mastered the art of talking his way out of things. Since the various departments didn't oppose competition, that meant misfires among members were a common occurrence. For over a decade in Jiangnan City, only Zhang Chen and I have been S-class espers. As long as I can pin Zhang Chen down, everyone in the Dragonfang base will have to kiss my ass. Yun Shi Yu felt that Lu Feng's words made sense, and the thought of dealing with me sprouted in her mind as well. Senior, thank you for helping me. Yun Shi Yu flashed a sweet smile at Lu Feng. Lu Feng gave a slight nod. You four, clear out this mob of little zombies. I'll keep my eye on that kid. Lu Feng ordered his 4 lackeys. Meanwhile, on a rooftop not far away, Zhu Dazhuang's condition had stabilized. Seeing this, I turned my gaze back toward the station, my murderous intent completely boiling over. This guy has to die. Just then, Lu Feng turned around and caught the look in my eyes. A playful, mocking smirk spread across his face, full of sheer provocation. Seeing that, I narrowed my eyes. In a flash, a viral chain blade shot right out of my hand. I leapt straight off the roof, but before I could even hit the ground, several streaks of howling, cyan wind came flying at me. They slammed into me instantly, blasting me backward into the building. The viral armor on my body was slashed open, leaving several deep, jagged gashes from the wind blades. What a razor-sharp ability. Its armor-piercing power is even stronger than the rending claws. I frowned deeply as my body rapidly began to regenerate. This is gonna be a pain. If I can just get in close, I could absolutely blast him into a bloody mist with a single punch. I lunged out of the building once again. I manifested a viral shield in front of me, tanking a massive barrage of wind blades as I charged straight at Lu Feng. Cheui, are you saying this kid has high-speed regeneration? Well, this just got a little tricky. Lu Feng's expression turned dead serious. Even so, he was still incredibly confident in his own strength. Let's see just how many wind blades he can take. A ferocious, twisted look flashed across his face. He conjured up another massive storm of wind blades. System voice. Multiple attacks sustained. Body is gradually adapting. Analyzing threat source. Class A wind element detected. Evolution initiated. Suddenly, a flood of data poured into my consciousness. The very next second, I felt the viral armor coat itself in a layer of wind elemental energy, making it completely indestructible. Successfully evolved a new ability, Class A Wind Elemental Resistance. Grants immunity to all types of wind-based damage below Class S. Damn, this evolution speed is completely insane. As expected of the ultimate virus in the universe. Unlocking this new ability filled me with absolute thrill. The wind blades struck again, but this time, a faint cyan glow shimmered across my viral armor. The blades hit me like stones sinking into the ocean, vanishing into absolute nothingness in an instant. What the hell, my wind blades aren't working? That's impossible. How the hell is he blocking that? Lu Feng's pupils shrank to pinpricks as a massive wave of panic hit him. By the time he focused his eyes, I was already charging at him like a bloodthirsty, frenzied beast. You four, stop him right now. Shui, there's something seriously wrong with this freak. We're getting out of here. Lu Feng screamed in absolute terror. Grabbing Yun Shui by the arm, he immediately dove for cover to retreat. Trying to run? Even if you scumbags make it back to your base, I'll still slaughter you all the same, I roared in pure rage. With that, two massive viral blades materialized in my hands. I leapt high into the air and hurled them violently at Lu Feng and Yun Shui. They were aimed dead center at their backs. Seeing this, Lu Feng's four lackeys frantically channeled their abilities, desperately trying to block the blades for him. But the very next second, the twin blades completely impaled all four of their chests, skewering them together like a bloody shish kebab. It pinned their dead bodies straight into the side of a bus. Holy shit, what kind of freakish monster strength is this? Lu Feng turned his head just in time to witness the gruesome scene. A cold shiver of pure dread ran down his spine, but before he could even react, another blade came hurling through the air. It instantly shattered the bus window and viciously sliced off one of Lu Feng's arms. Run, run for your life. This psycho is trying to kill us. Howling in agony, Lu Feng desperately clutched his bleeding stump and ran like a maniac. At this point, the guy was practically scared out of his mind. Yun Shui was completely paralyzed with terror, too. She was actually running away even faster than Lu Feng. As for me, I didn't stop for even a single second. I materialized my longsword again, jumped onto the roof of an abandoned bus, and chased them right out of the station. But the moment I stepped out of the station, Lu Feng and Yun Shui ducked into the nearby streets. I chased them for 2 blocks. Maybe the buildings were just too dense with too many obstacles. Or maybe Lu Feng had some kind of stealth item. I pushed my sight, hearing, smell, and thermal senses to the absolute limit. But still couldn't find a single trace of those two. What the hell is going on? The smell of blood, the sound of footsteps, their body heat, all gone. I furrowed my brows, completely baffled. You dared to hurt my people. We'll settle this score once we get back to the base. I spat coldly at the empty street ahead. With that, I turned around and walked away. Meanwhile, on one side of the street, hiding behind a rusted-out half of an old truck, Yun Shui and Lu Feng were crouching down. The two of them were completely cloaked by a faint, glowing blue energy array. It completely masked their figures and their auras. Senior, Zhang Chen is gone. I think we're safe now. Seeing me walk away, Yun Shui let out a long sigh of relief. But Lu Feng's face was dead serious. Wait a bit longer. It might be a trap. Just as the words left his mouth, at the corner of the street, a dark silhouette suddenly appeared, eyes flashing with a blood-red light. A suffocating aura of death churned around the figure. In one hand, he gripped a twisted, snake-like chain blade, while his other hand dragged a longsword, the tip of the blade screeching loudly against the pavement. You guys are really good at hiding, aren't you? I'd love to see just how long you can keep this up. I yelled out into the street once more. Seeing no reaction, I turned around and left again. 2 minutes later, I came right back. Watching this from behind the truck, the two of them instantly felt their hearts leap into their throats. Is this bastard just playing with us? Lu Feng's face turned pale with rage. How much longer can your concealment array last? Yun Shui whispered. It lasts for an hour. We have plenty of time to stay hidden. You can relax, but do not move a muscle. If you make any sudden movements, the array will shatter. Lu Feng grimaced. I can't believe this punk can actually fight way above his level. He actually wants me dead. Well, I am not going to let him get away with this. Lu Feng gritted his teeth. A few minutes later, I made my way back to the bus station. First, I smashed the signal jammers planted by Lu Feng's men, and then I directly called the exam camp. Calling in a helicopter to evacuate Zhu Dajuang, I managed to kill 4 awakeners this time. I wonder what kind of powers they had. Looking at the fresh corpses nearby, my mood instantly improved. I walked over to the bodies and scanned them with my tactical smartwatch. Once I confirmed they weren't from the Dragon Fang base, all of my guilt vanished. Successfully plundered D rank power. Strength Berserk. Successfully plundered E rank power. Enhanced hearing. Successfully plundered C rank power. Agony Shock. Not bad luck at all. All 4 of these powers will give me a solid boost. And out of all the power types I've been drooling over, elemental abilities were definitely on the list. Even though Agony Shock is only C rank, making it a pretty weak elemental power. Just the thought of wrapping my chain blade around someone and blasting them with electricity. That feeling would be absolutely electrifying. It's just a shame that Yun Shui and that bastard got away. Otherwise, I could have crippled them and just controlled the zombies to finish them off. That way, I could have easily cleared my name while quietly plundering their powers for myself. I let out a soft sigh. A short while later, I finished clearing out the bus station. This time, I extracted a whopping 800 gene points and D-rank super strength. Upgrade everything, I muttered to myself. Consumed 800 gene points. My body has been enhanced in every way. Realm at 40%, devouring monsters feels absolutely amazing. I couldn't hold back my excitement. It hasn't even been a week since I mastered the Blacklight virus. And this is only my very first mission, yet my realm is already on the verge of breaking through to the mid-tier. With my current immortal body, even a high-tier Esper couldn't kill me. Just as I was about to hunt down more mid-tier monsters to grind out the last 1000 gene points I needed to rank up, my tactical smartwatch suddenly lit up. I answered, and Vice Captain Yan Rui's voice came through. Zhang Chen, your clearing mission just got pulled by the captain. Head back to base right now. We just got a report from the investigation and combat departments. They're claiming you went completely rogue during the Black Cloud County exam, stealing kills left and right. They said you slaughtered nearly 100 low-tier monsters, and even injured several of their special operatives. Is this true? Yan Rui sounded genuinely baffled. Vice Captain, the part about going rogue and stealing kills is a lie, but the rest is true. But let me just say this, they started it. They totally had it coming when they got beat up. Do you believe me? I asked bluntly. There was a few seconds of dead silence on the other end of the line. You're one of our guys in the mobile task force. I have no reason to doubt you. However, people from both the combat and investigation departments are currently banging on our door demanding answers. I think you need to come back to base and clear the air. As long as you didn't murder any operatives for no reason, the captain can cover for you on anything else. He won't let the other departments push you around. You can rest easy on that front. After hanging up, it took me half an hour to get back to the mobile task force building. The second I stepped into Yan Rui's office, I was hit with 2 intense, evaluating stares. One belonged to a gorgeous, mature woman with red hair, and the other to a guy with a dark, sinister vibe. Zhang Chen, any interest in transferring to my combat department? If you say yes, I'll even be your girlfriend and personally protect you from now on. How does that sound? The red-haired beauty offered, her eyes gleaming with utter sincerity. The moment she said that, I completely froze in shock. Meanwhile, Yan Rui slammed his hands on the desk and shot up from his chair. Chin ran. I thought you came here demanding an explanation. Why the hell are you poaching my men right inside the mobile task force? Don't you think that's crossing a line? An explanation? Why would I need an explanation? Luo Chong just sucked at his job. He got his ass kicked by someone at a lower rank. I'm honestly too embarrassed by him to even think about demanding an explanation. Chin Ren brushed it off instantly. Her eyes remained locked onto me the entire time. Major Chin, since you don't have any actual business here, I'll have to ask you to leave. Yan Rui gestured toward the door. Seeing this, a sly smirk crept across Chin Ran's face. Honestly, I only came here today because I want to borrow Zhang Chen. Since Luo Chong is out of commission with major injuries, The combat department is down to just one elite operative fit for our dispatch mission. Your mobile task force is built for backup anyway, so I want Zhang Chen to assist us. That's not too much to ask, is it? Yan Rui let out a groan and rubbed his temples. Zhang Chen is only a low-tier operative. Sending him on a dispatch mission is far too dangerous. Pick someone else. Major Yan, do you honestly believe Zhang Chen isn't up to it? The kid just put 2 mid-tier Class A elites in the hospital back to back. If you're going to shoot me down, then I'll just have to tell my captain and let him come over here to collect the boy himself. Qin Ren leaned on the desk, staring right at Yan Rui. Seeing this, Yan Rui knew exactly how stubborn the combat division could be. As the vice captain of the mobile division, aside from major decisions that needed Lin Tianhe's approval, he could handle everything else. Forget it, I'll agree to this. As for the deployment missions from now on, you can explain them to Zhang Chen yourself, Yan Rui said, shaking his head helplessly. Seeing that Yan Rui agreed, the fierce glare in Qin Ran's eyes faded. A smile returned to his lips. Zhang Chen, my number is on here. Make sure to add me later. Qin Ran pressed a business card into my hand, speaking softly. With a wave, he turned and walked away. Once he was gone, the other guy, a gloomy young man, glared at me coldly. Zhang Chen, you're a suspect in the attempted murder of Lu Feng, a special operative from the investigation division. You need to come with me to the investigation division to assist with our inquiries. Wu Zi's tone was hostile. Hearing this, I couldn't help but sneer. Attempted murder? Does that mean he's already dead and gone to hell? If he isn't dead, then tell him to suck it up. Oh, and do me a favor. Pass a message to him. Tell him to get his coffin ready. Because I'm coming for him. Murderous intent flashed in Wu Zi's eyes. Very well, you've got guts. I'll be sure to pass that along. Just don't regret it when the time comes. With that, Wu Zi stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Zhang Chen, what exactly happened between you and Lu Feng from the investigation division? Is there any room to settle this peacefully? Yan Rui asked, looking confused. While I was busy dealing with a mid-tier, late-stage zombie, he suddenly ambushed me from behind with a windblade. Da Zhuang was almost killed by his strike, too. Vice Captain Yan, no matter what happens, he has to die. My tone was ice cold. Hearing this, Yan Rui's face instantly turned grim. He knew exactly how serious this was. I can't believe Wu Zi has the nerve to twist the truth like that. Zhang Chen, do you have the combat footage from the fight? If you do, this will be much easier to handle. Ambushing someone just to steal their kill, and trying to murder a fellow soldier goes way beyond fair competition. Scum like him don't deserve to be in the Dragonfang base. I'll report this for you right away. I'll submit a request to the 5 Divisions Joint Tribunal to have him expelled from the base. Once he's out, you can get your revenge however you see fit. A cold glint flashed in Yan Rui's eyes. He immediately contacted Da Zhuang and retrieved the combat footage. But after watching the video, his brow furrowed heavily. Zhang Chen, I just checked his record. Lu Feng has completed 53 base missions. He has a lot of merit points saved up. If we take him to the Joint Tribunal, they'll give him the right to defend himself based on his past contributions. The footage clearly shows the windblade coming at your back, but those guys in the investigation division are experts at twisting words. They'll probably claim he was aiming for the monster and hit you by accident. In other words, getting him expelled from the Dragonfang base is going to be nearly impossible. And what happens if I just kill him myself? I asked bluntly. Yan Rui froze for a few seconds at my words. If you kill him outright, you'll be violating military regulations. You'd get at least 10 years in prison. Even if our captain steps in to help, he probably couldn't get your sentence reduced. Because the captains of the other 4 divisions are also ultra-tier espers. Their say in the matter is just as big as the captain's. Yan Rui rubbed his forehead helplessly. Then what about applying for a deathmatch? I asked, unwilling to give up. Hearing this, Yan Rui's gaze instantly sharpened. That requires the other party's consent. Are you absolutely certain? He's as good as dead. I let out a slight smile, brimming with absolute confidence. Once the death warrant is signed, the arena will open based on the condition of both fighters. Right now, Lu Feng has lost an arm. It'll take some time for him to recover. If you want to kill him, you'll have to wait at least half a month. No problem, it's just half a month. I can wait. Zhang Chen, are you really sure you won't mess this up? If you can't handle it, we can think of another way, Yan Rui said with worry. Vice Captain, just trust me. If I can hurt him now, I can do the exact same thing in half a month. Right at that moment, Yan Rui suddenly sensed it. My cultivation level had already reached the late stage of the low tier. In that instant, he could no longer keep his composure. No wonder you're so confident. It seems that giving you half a month is more than enough for you to break through to the mid-tier level. If Lu Feng actually dares to accept the deathmatch, then the captain and I will be looking forward to a good show in half a month. After leaving the operations department building, I headed over to the Dragonfang Base's mission management center to turn in my quest. Since I wasn't the one who killed the giant armed zombie, turning in the mission this time only got me 100,000 in cash and 20 merit points. Out of that, 20,000 in cash and 4 merit points were automatically transferred over to Zhu Dajuang. Next, I took a look around the base's supply depot. I found out that merit points could be exchanged for combat skills, weapons, and all sorts of item supplies. But with the tiny amount of merit points I have right now, the most I could get is a basic blade technique manual. Forget it, a basic blade technique is pretty useless to me anyway. Next time I run into an enemy who trains in combat skills, I can just steal them straight away. I thought to myself. Right then, I suddenly noticed among the supply items an item called the light hiding array. So this was the thing that helped him dodge my detection. One slash from me just destroyed 3,000 of his merit points. He must be hurting real bad right now. Smirk crept onto my face. The very next day, a piece of news swept through the entire Dragonfang base like a hurricane. This year's Genius Special Operative, Zhang Chen, actually issued a deathmatch challenge to Lu Feng from the investigation department. Everyone in the base was waiting on the edge of their seats to see how Lu Feng would respond. Inside a rehab room in the medical department, the moment Lu Feng heard the news, he burst out laughing with wild excitement. Brother Wu, hurry up and answer his challenge for me. Tell him I accept. Young Master Feng, didn't you say he could resist your wind element abilities? If you fight him again, do you even have a chance of winning? Wu Zi frowned as he looked at Lu Feng and asked. Hearing this, the grin on Lu Feng's face became even more impossible to hold back. I only need to absorb 3 more green crystal cores, and I'll break through to the early stage of the high tier. When that time comes, I can mop the floor with him using just my combat skills. The moment he said that, a look of pure shock washed over Wu Zi's face. Young Master Feng, I didn't expect you to break through to the high tier this quickly. That absolute idiot, Zhang Chen, actually challenged you to a deathmatch right now. He must have a death wish. I'll accept the challenge for you right away. For this next half month, just focus on resting up and put all your energy into breaking through to the next level. Soon enough, the news of Lu Feng accepting the fight sent shockwaves through the entire base once again. Over in the dormitory area, as soon as Yun Shui caught wind of the news, she rushed straight to the medical room to ask Lu Feng what was going on. When she found out that Lu Feng was about to become a high-tier ability user, she was instantly thrilled beyond belief. Senior, I heard that surrendering isn't allowed in the life and death arena. When the time comes, you have to torture Zhang Chen mercilessly. A vicious look flashed through Yun Shui's eyes. Hearing this, a smirk instantly crept up the corners of Lu Feng's mouth. Shui, my conflict with that punk, it's all for you. If I kill him, would you be willing to be my girlfriend? Yun Shui couldn't help but freeze upon hearing that. As an S-class Esper, she looked down on A-class Espers from the bottom of her heart. But right now, since Lu Feng could help her kill Zhang Chen, she naturally found it hard to reject him. Whatever, I'll string Lu Feng along for a while. Once I use his resources to break through to the high tier, I'll dump him immediately, Yun Shui plotted in her mind. Thinking of this, her face instantly melted into a gentle smile. Senior, as long as you can kill Zhang Chen, I'll say yes. Zhang Chen, why did you challenge Lu Feng from the investigation department to a life and death deathmatch? How confident are you? Lin Tianhe's voice rang out from the tactical watch. 100%, as long as you're confident. Are you still going on the dispatch mission for the combat department? If not, just stay at the base and cultivate. I'll have Little Yan give you this month's resources in advance later. Captain, I've already promised Vice Captain Chin, so I definitely have to go on the dispatch mission. Since that's the case, go straight to Little Yan. The combat department building isn't far from us. It's right on the way. After hanging up the call, I left the villa. It didn't take long to find Yan Rui. I received 20 white crystal cores and a 5 cubic meter spatial ring. White crystal cores usually only drop from monster pack leaders or elite beasts. This meant that the 20 white crystal cores were worth a fortune. And a spatial ring was an even rarer item, coming with an outrageously high price tag. On my way to the combat department building, I immediately converted all the white crystal cores into 2000 gene points. I enhanced everything. My body received a massive all-around boost. Realm progress, 50%. Realm advanced to the early stage of the mid-tier. Feeling my physical capabilities skyrocket like crazy, my heart pounded with absolute thrill. With my current strength, I should be able to single-handedly lift a 50-ton heavy tank, right? I couldn't help but clench my fists. However, after breaking through to the mid-tier, every 1% of realm progress now costs 100 gene points. This means it's going to get harder and harder to level up from here on out. Sister Ran, who exactly did you borrow from the mobile department this time? Are they reliable? Shu Yang and I are both late-stage mid-tier espers, you know. The person you brought in isn't going to drag us down, right? Inside the vice captain's office of the combat department building, a girl with a stunning figure wearing a black leather jacket voiced her doubts. Hearing this, a playful smirk instantly appeared on Chin Ran's face. Mungya, you'll find out the moment he gets here, won't you? Acting all mysterious. Don't tell me it's Wang Haoyan? If it's him, then he's definitely qualified to go on a mission with us. Chen Mungya said with a hint of expectation. Hearing this, Shu Yang, a skinny guy wearing round-framed glasses standing off to the side, quickly chimed in. Sister Meng, Brother Haoyan is still running a sweep mission over in Haiyan County. The guy Sister Ran borrowed this time probably isn't him. It's not him? Besides him, who else in the mobile unit is actually qualified to run a mission with us? Ran, if this guy you dragged in ends up holding me back, I am absolutely not going to protect him. Chen Mungya felt a wave of frustration wash over her. Mungya, it wasn't easy for me to get him on our team. So watch your mouth when he gets here. If you manage to piss him off, you're going to make things incredibly difficult for me. Chen Ran knitted her brows. Hearing this, Chen Mungya's curiosity only grew stronger. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed outside the office. Driven by that curiosity, Chen Mungya hurried over and pulled the door open. When she saw that the person walking in was me, a flash of surprise crossed her eyes. So, you're Zhang Chen? The guy everyone in the base has been gossiping about for the last couple of days? I heard you've only been here for 5 days, and you already had the guts to challenge Lu Feng to a death match? Talk about having a death wish. Chen Mungya let out a mocking laugh. Obviously, she had just gotten back from a mission, so she only knew half the story about me. But Shu Yang, who was standing right next to her, had clearly witnessed how terrifying I could be. He frantically reached out and clamped his hand over Chen Mungya's mouth. Brother Chen, I am so sorry. Sister Meng doesn't know who you are yet. She's just running her mouth. Please don't take it to heart. Please. Shu Yang flashed a desperately apologetic smile. Shu Yang, what the hell are you doing? Why are you acting so scared of a total newbie? Are you even my lieutenant anymore? Chen Mungya yelled, violently shoving Shu Yang's hand away. Sister Meng, please, you need to shut up. He's an S-rank esper. He beat both Luo Chong and Lu Feng straight into the hospital, and he did it fighting above his own tier. As soon as those words left his mouth, it was like a thunderclap went off in Chen Mungya's brain. Her eyes instantly sobered up. I am so sorry. I sincerely apologize for what I just said. Chen Mungya immediately backed down like a kicked puppy. I completely ignored her and shifted my gaze straight to Chin Ran. Vice Captain Chin, what exactly is the deployment mission this time? See for yourself, Chin Ran replied, pulling up a holographic projection right from her tactical watch. The number of missing persons in this incident has exceeded 500. It's already triggering citywide panic. Current intel suggests a rogue syndicate might be pulling the strings from the shadows. All departments are ordered to dispatch special operatives into the city limits to uncover the truth and root out both the suspects and the mastermind. Lethal force is authorized against any incooperative suspects. Mission time limit: none. Mission difficulty: unknown. Mission reward: 10 million in cash and 10,000 combat merits. Reward distribution rules: every participant is guaranteed a base of 500 combat merits. The squad that actually completes the objective claims the full prize pool. Seeing the details of the mission, a flicker of genuine surprise crossed my eyes. Because on the day of my awakening, Right after I headed back to Jiangnan City from the Dragonfang base, I ran straight into a liquor. It was incredibly obvious someone had released that monster on purpose. I just never imagined that after all these days, the Esper Bureau still hadn't figured out why. And now, the body count in Jiangnan City is just piling up. The Esper College entrance exam is right around the corner. I can't believe something this massive is going down in Jiangnan City right now. Could it actually be tied to the exams? But if it is, they definitely strike directly at the testing sites. Looks like my only play is to hit up the Esper Bureau for intel first, and then figure out my next move. I thought to myself, Zhang Chen, so that's the situation with the mission. According to the intel coming in from the city's Esper Bureau, all the missing victims are just your average civilian Espers, and the locations where they were ambushed are scattered all over the damn city. There's no fixed pattern at all. The Bureau actually captured a batch of monsters recently and tagged them. We've been trying to find the source of the monsters, but the moment they get marked, they immediately blow themselves up. And as for tracking them down, it's just not realistic. They can turn completely invisible, and even camouflage themselves into their surroundings. So far, the Esper Bureau hasn't found a single solid lead. Hearing this, I couldn't help but frown. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, the only way to catch the mastermind behind this mission is to start with the monsters themselves. But it's so obvious that someone has been modifying or controlling them. The second something goes wrong, boom, they blow themselves up. Ran, what kind of useless trash is the investigation department's Esper Bureau hiring? They are totally incompetent. If the monsters are blowing themselves up, it's clearly the work of a mind control Esper. Why doesn't the Bureau just round up every single mind controller in the city? Hypnotize them for interrogation, or just rip through their memories? Simple, Mungya complained. Mungya, there are at least 1,000 mind control Espers in this city, from the weakest to the strongest. But our base doesn't have anyone skilled enough in hypnosis or memory extraction. And even if we did, do you really think 1,000 people would just willingly let us dig through their heads? Ran explained. Hearing that, Mungya finally shut her mouth. She figured this was just a totally thankless job, unless they got insanely lucky, stumbled right onto a suspect, and tracked them all the way back to their main hideout. It was hopeless. Hey Mungya, I can control killer bees, right? Why don't we just stake out one of the attack zones first? Once the monsters show up, I'll use my bees to secretly track them. What do you think? Besides, your ability gives you crazy sharp hearing and a super strong sense of smell. Tracking those freaks in the shadows will be an absolute breeze for us. Shu Yang said, brimming with confidence. Meanwhile, listening to their little chat, a golden gleam flashed in my eyes. After all, my Blacklight virus can do way more than just infect and control living creatures. It can rip through human memories, too. The moment I extract a suspect's memories, I can use my Shapeshifter King ability to flawlessly take on their exact appearance. I'll infiltrate their ranks, slaughter them all, and loot a massive horde of abilities. Hey Zhang Chen, aren't you going to share your thoughts? Mungya looked at me, genuinely curious. Let's just go with this guy's plan. Once we find a suspect, dragging the mastermind out of the shadows will be a piece of cake. I replied. 1 hour later, the three of them walked through the Bureau's main doors. The mission director immediately rushed over to greet them. Welcome, you three officers. I'm Zhao Jiyong, the director of the Esper Bureau. It's pouring out there. Please, hurry in and have a seat. We can go over the details of the mission together. Jiyong said, overflowing with enthusiasm. Director Zhao, we already know the basic rundown, so you can skip the pleasantries. Here's my contact info. If you get hit by another attack, just report the exact location directly to us. The second we get the report, we'll rush straight to the scene. Mungya shoved her business card at him, sounding totally annoyed. It was blindingly obvious she had absolutely zero respect for the Bureau's staff. Hearing that, Jae-young's face instantly froze. Then, forcing an awkward smile, he replied, understood, officer. We'll notify you the second we get any updates, Boss Chen. Meng, I've already booked us a hotel downtown. We can stay there and rest up while we're on this mission. Shu Yang told me. Hearing that, I gave a satisfied nod. The perk of having an adjutant is pretty obvious. They literally take care of every single detail. It's pouring rain right now. Even if I didn't mind waiting around at the Esper Bureau for updates, there is zero chance Chen Mungya would put up with it. After all, she'd been complaining about the miserable weather the entire drive to Jiangnan City. Just then, an agent from the Bureau came sprinting over. Looking panicked and breathless, he gasped, "Supervisor Zhao. Something's gone wrong at the Flying Dragon Storage Center up north. Investigators are reporting that 10 night shift workers have vanished without a trace. The warehouse is completely empty, except for pools of blood and monster claw marks all over the place. The team suspects the attack happened around 3 a.m. today." As the agent finished speaking, Zhao Jiyong's face instantly dropped, and the three of us exchanged a quick, knowing look. We immediately hopped in the car and sped toward the warehouse. An attack that went down at 3 a.m. They're only just now hearing about it? I finally get why this case is such a nightmare to solve. Their efficiency is just as pathetic as the investigation department back at our base. Chen Mengya scoffed. Hearing that, I couldn't help but look a bit stunned. Lu Feng and Yun Shui were both from investigation, and the guy who had it out for me earlier, Wu Zi, was their vice captain. I guess everyone in that department really is cut from the same rotten cloth. 10 minutes later, the three of us pulled up to the Flying Dragon Storage Center on the north side. We stepped inside the crime scene. The warehouse was pitch black and eerie. The second I set foot inside, a strange, foul scent hit my nose. I could feel it. Something was watching me. Zhang Chen. Do you feel that? Without warning, a pair of feline ears sprouted from Chen Mengya's head, shifting her into a fierce, stunning beast girl. Whatever it is, it hasn't left. I gave a slow nod in agreement. My senses are a bit sharper. You guys wait right here. I'll go check things out. Chen Mengya pointed toward a shadowy aisle between the massive storage racks. But just a few yards away, crouching atop one of the racks, a licker was lurking in the pitch-black shadows. Its eyes gleamed with a sinister red light. Ash-gray skin stretched across its body, tracing over a web of glowing blue demonic runes. Its mouthful of razor-sharp fangs looked absolutely terrifying. But the moment it sensed Zhang Chen and the others approaching, those blue runes pulsed with a dim, eerie light, and its body instantly camouflaged into the darkness, vanishing completely without a trace.